Do you ever get nervous about sharing your artwork, maybe with friends or at church, because you want to share it, but you don't want to come across as braggadocious or just out to make a dollar? Well, we're going to dispel a lot of the myths around that and give you 3 really practical things you can do today to start sharing your work in an authentic way here on 5-Minute Mentoring. Have you ever wanted to have someone in your life who you could ask real questions about your art, your business, and even your walk with the Lord? Well, that's exactly what we do every Friday here on 5-Minute Mentoring, where I answer one question from one of my awesome podcast listeners in order to help you start really thriving as the artist you know God created you to be. Well, hey there, I'm so glad that you're with me today here on 5-Minute Mentoring. Listen, I love getting questions from you guys, so thanks for all the voicemails that you're leaving me. If you don't know about that, you can go in the show notes and grab the link. It's just matttommymentoring.com/podcast. And you can go to the website and actually leave me a voicemail, ask me a question about anything that's on your mind in regards to your art life, spiritual life, business life, anything like that. And or you can ask me about my garden because it's really beautiful this time of year. Or whatever. But anyway, I got a great question this week from one of our podcast listeners, Deseree, and she was asking about this whole idea of, what do you do when you need to be sharing your art as an artist? You want to promote it, you want to get it out there, you're trying to do everything and be everything God's called you to be, but there's this kind of lingering feeling in the back of your mind that, am I being like braggy, or do people think I'm out just to make money because I'm selling my art? And especially if you're sharing around folks that you go to church with, or maybe your friends, family, that sort of thing. Here's her question, and she asked it in a great way. I think you'll like it.
Hi, Matt. This is Deseree. When your audience is mainly churchgoers, how do you advertise without coming across as someone who's just trying to make a buck or take advantage of the church? Thank you for all you do.
Well, thanks, Deseree. I really appreciate you too, and all my listeners out there. I just love it when I get questions like this. So, hey, listen, the first thing that kind of comes to my mind is as I'm listening to your question, and I just want to really clarify this. You never have to feel bad. Nobody ever has to feel bad for selling your artwork. We've talked about that a lot on the podcast and my books and the mentoring program, all of that. A lot of times Christians really struggle with that because they're like, can I really sell the work that God's inspired me to do? And absolutely you can. And the reason why is that, when people struggle with that, I immediately recognize that there's a fundamental disconnect and misunderstanding with how the kingdom works. See, God has designed us to harvest our provision by revelation of His Holy Spirit in line with our assignment. So the Father, again, brings provision into your life through the thing that He's given you to do in the kingdom. That's where you're going to find the most fulfillment, the most impact, the most joy, the most abundance in your life. And so realize that that's a normal thing in the kingdom. Now, it may not be a normal thing in your circles. It may not be a normal thing in your church. It may not be a normal thing for the people that you hang around, but realize that that's the way that God set it up. And it's a wonderful dynamic when you can begin to embrace that and flow with that. I mean, I see so many artists when they begin to get rid of the old mindset of, having to be a starving artist and having to give away all your art and, if God inspired me to do it, I can't sell it. I mean, all these kind of religiosity filled, lies really about creativity. Once they begin to jettison that and begin to embrace how the kingdom works, all of a sudden things begin to really flow. So I want to really encourage you in that, Deseree, just to embrace that new reality, because once you do, that gives you a lot of confidence to be able to interact with people in a way that's not feeling like you're backpedaling all the time or feeling like you're apologizing for your work. And see, when you walk in confidence, then you don't have to be responsible for how others view you or how other people are looking at you, or what is she doing? Is she just trying to make a buck, or who does she think she is? All that kind of stuff. You don't have to worry about that because you're walking in confidence in who God's called you to be. You're walking in integrity, that you know you're doing the things the way He's created you to do it with the grace that He's given you in this season of your life. And you can let opinions of others fall where they may. And this is a great lesson on boundaries as well. So I want to give you three things because I think these are really at the core of what I've done over the years to grow my art business and to help other artists grow theirs in my mentoring program. The first thing I would say is realize that all art purchases come out of connection. All right. And so to build connection, you want to be, number one, sharing your story, sharing the story of who you are and what you do. All right. That is sharing your story, sharing your process, sharing the behind the scenes, sharing the love of what you do, the inspiration behind that. When you share those stories, what that does is, number two, it builds connection. All right. And when you build connection, that's where people's heart gets involved. See, if you don't build connection, it's really easy for you to feel like you're kind of a used car salesman. No offense to used car salesmen, but you can feel like you're just trying to schlep your stuff all the time. But when you build connection, what you're doing is you're building relationship. And over time, if somebody really connects with you, that's where purchases happen. All right. So share your story, share your process, build connection. And then as you do that, what you want to be doing, and again, this is a wonderful way the Holy Spirit speaks to us, especially in regards to growing our art business. Listen for and watch for authentic connection around what you're doing. That is, what is it about your story that people really connect with? What is it about your art or certain pieces of art or certain ways that you do things? What is it about those things that people really connect with? Because here's what I've learned. If you will recognize that and then build on that over time, again, it builds a huge bond with your client, and money is not even the issue at that point. See, that's a beautiful place to be as an artist, where you can sell art based in connection and based in relationship, and the money is just a fruit of that. Otherwise, if you come at this thing with just trying to sell my stuff, then people can get offended by that. People think you're focusing on the money. You feel slimy, all of that. So I never go that way. Always share your story, share your process, build connection, and then watch for that connection and build on that over time. Again, ultimately, the best sales happen when you're helping someone who you've built a relationship with get what they already want. And when that, where you see the connection between your client and what you do creatively, that's the place that you have an opportunity to build a business. And I see it happen every day. It's absolutely possible. And so, Deseree, I hope you and all my other listeners will really take advantage of that way of thinking, as opposed to just kind of trying to sell your art and feeling like a slimy used car salesman. Again, no offense to used car salesmen. Okay. Well, hey, listen, if you're listening today and you've got a question for me, I would love to answer your question. All you got to do is leave me a voicemail. Just go to matttommymentoring.com/podcast. You can record any question that you like about your spiritual life, art life, business life, and I'll listen to them. And if it's something that we feel like will be a great match for our listeners here on the Thriving Christian Artist podcast, then I'll feature you just like I did Deseree today. All right. Also, take a moment on iTunes and subscribe, and also review the podcast. Give it a 5-star. Give it a little comment there. Let others know that this has been a blessing to you. That really, really helps us get the word out. Also, share it on social, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are. Again, just letting folks know that we're out here, and that hopefully this has been a big blessing in your life. All right. Love you very much. Until next time, remember, you were created to thrive. All right. Bye.